correcting the skin first before going in with your liquid or cream foundation, because then you won't need as much. Like this burn that I have on my forehead, I always take it there because it actually does cover. Thank God that's fading. So as you can see, my prep skin already looks really good. Like it already looks like my skin is perfect. My skin is definitely not perfect. No matter how many times y'all try to lie to me and say it is, it's not perfect. Most of my scarring is actually usually around my chin because it's really annoying, but I get those little stupid chin hairs and then sometimes I dig. Instead of going in with my liquid foundation, I am actually going to take my contour color. This is from CoverGirl and the shade that I use is Espresso and it's a really dark color. And the reason why I'm going in with this dark color is because I'm gonna need it to really stand out and about when I put something else on top of it. I'm also going to hit my cheekbones. That's definitely not even. Wow. Okay, we need to go higher here and then we'll go lower on this side. Yeah, that's better. I've contoured the forehead and the cheekbones. Because my face is so narrow, sometimes it kind of helps to cut it down. And I'm also going to cut that chin down a little bit. It looks like a lot. That's because it is, but look, we're gonna blend it out. One of my favorites, I'm going to take Nabella's foundation brush from her e.l.f. collab because it's nice and dense, so it's gonna make blending this contour quite easy. And I'm just gonna go right in and start blending that out. Now, the fact that this color is so dark, if I was doing this on top of my foundation, I wouldn't use a color this deep, but we haven't added our foundation yet, and there's a reason for that. I'm gonna get there. But first, let's blend this out and make sure this is completely buffed to perfection. I'm gonna take this brush and blend upwards to get that chin, cut her in half. I don't have a problem with my chin at all, actually. I don't know why I keep saying cut. I don't want my face to be shorter, but we definitely want to make up for the fact that like the bottom half of my face is darker anyway. So, you know, contouring there kind of helps blend it out and make it look less, look like a lot. And you can't just slap on one foundation color and make your face look even. That's not how it works for me. And that's not how it works for a lot of brown girls. But I'm gonna take this L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. This is in the shade Cocoa. When you put makeup products over parts of your face that like aren't even with the rest of your face, this doesn't really happen when your skin's a little bit lighter, but it definitely is noticeable when your skin's a little bit darker. It shows through a little bit more and it looks a little more obvious and like not always in a good way when you're wearing makeup. When you're wearing bare face, it's fine. Like I don't really care that my skin's darker on my mouth. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. When I'm wearing makeup, however, that's a different story. It kind of creates this illusion of like a under my eye. I'm gonna correct that as well, because if I don't correct this and I go into highlight on top, you're still gonna see like that underlying blue darkness underneath. And it's not flattering slapping on a brightening product or brightening concealer on top of those areas because you can see that underlying pigment showing through. So it's better to correct it first. Then you can go in and highlight after that. Now I'm gonna take a makeup sponge. You can use any sponge you like or brush. And I'm going to blend this out around my mouth area. Do a flash, even though I didn't look even. That's to figure out how to do that. Just take my word for it, trust me. Now let's blend under our eye of Love is Blind for the past 24 hours, even though I have, but stop judging me. That's not your business. Let's go ahead and go back to our contour color. And I don't like to contour my nose, honey. You guys already know what time it is. But instead, I kind of do this little like faux contour thing where I just do the shade in my inner, I don't know what you'd call that, but and then I'm gonna take a really small, dense brush and I'm going to blend this out. And this is kind of like a makeup routine. You can go in a doctor brow, or if you have a hard time getting the head up like this. I woke up like death. Why would I want to put products on top that are super expensive to look still like death? Make it make sense. I need high coverage. I use like 2 concealers. One of them has to be like really high coverage if I'm going for like a very glam look. This Kevyn Aucoin concealer will literally cover a police record. Like it covers everything. It's maximum coverage because there's definitely a difference between full coverage and maximum coverage. This one is the latter. This is SX12. It's really olivey and really yellow. My undertones are golden, so I like things that are a little bit olivey or neutral or the obvious golden, but some not too yellow. This one can be pretty olivey, so I'm gonna lightly apply this concealer. As I go outward, you wanna kind of fade that color so that it doesn't look too blocky and become more difficult to blend. Because this is such a high coverage concealer, you really don't need that much, I promise you. Most of where I need the coverage is like right in this area here. If I'm feeling cute and dainty and girl next door and shy and coy, I will just stop here and blend this out. But today we going full glam, so strap up. My little trick to really get the eye shape popping is that right right there. You see what I just did? I know you see it. This is going to give the eye a quick lift, an easy lift. Now we need to highlight the forehead. If you thought I was gonna leave it there, you're wrong. And because this concealer has so much coverage, you won't need to apply a lot. Fill in the gaps, of course. Remember when I told you we were gonna put product here? That's where this highlight color comes in. And then I'm also going to follow the trail down my nose. Because we don't contour the nose around here in these parts, we rely on highlighting to add that depth and shape. Blend all this. Also see how concealer is sometimes, well, stop making sure that's no seamless. Now we're finally gonna apply our foundation, and you're probably thinking, where you gonna put it? Everywhere we didn't highlight and everywhere we didn't contour. I'm gonna take the Maybelline 24 Hour. Is this my shade? This is Warm Coconut in the shade 356. It's not as golden as I would like. A face full of product anyway. Everywhere we didn't apply the contour and the concealer, we just want to lightly fill in the blanks. So in between where our concealer and our contour is, I'm gonna apply that foundation. Now the reason why it was so important to kind of like amp it up and make sure all of the brush hairs were distributed with that product is so that you don't get any streak marks or you don't miss any spots. It's very easy to do that working in this method, kind of working backwards in a way if you really think about it. Also make sure you hit the sides of them nose, girl. Skip this part if you don't like putting foundation on your nose. Do whatever the hell you want, okay? You don't have to listen to me. I'm just here for the people who are trying to learn. This foundation is such a good formula. I would say it's slept on, but it's absolutely not. It is 100% raved about, talked about, used about, featured everywhere, and is getting its accolades because it deserves it. So again, on this side, basically like, forget, contour a little bit with the contour. Don't be afraid, just go there. This foundation is like you have to do the routine does, and I'll do one foundation. You will 100% have to go back to one foundation to get the job done. You're kind of like able to get a better shade match doing this. Hit that brow, like right where that eye is. Imagine if somebody came out with a quarantine palette, I would drag them. You will 100% have to go back to your concealer and perfect it. That's okay. The brush will add kind of like streaks in that area. That's fine, but we're not done concealing yet. I'm gonna take this one from CoverGirl. This one's a little bit more olivey, not as clearly not my color. That's okay. That's what we want. We want to just boop. That's it. Literally right in the corners, the chin, and then here. So when you're blending this color out, you really want to concentrate that color like as close to your bottom lash line as possible. And as you can see, that made all the difference in making my under eye look even more snatched in a really good way. If you aren't into the CoverGirl scaly set with powder, as you can see, I'm like skin obsessed. I could work on my skin and complexion for a long time, but the good news is I won't really need to do my brows because I just got microblading. So I'll just move right along past that. I'm gonna take a little bit of that powder, starting right underneath the eye. Not in a good way, not like sitting. Take a little flat angled brush. This one is from New Band Beauty. It's a Nigerian based beauty brand. And I'm gonna take my powder and just plop that powder in the same area that we highlighted. Powder the forehead, should be on the safe side, the corners of the nose. They aren't doing it. So using a tapered brush, I just usually like to add a little more color, bronzing over contouring all day. But then again, we already contoured. We just did it with cream products earlier. This color is perfect. This formula is perfect. Don't think I forgot about my jawline. I did. Right at the little tip of my ear, I start buffing and blending that out. You better come through side eye. Also, don't be afraid to go there and push that product into the brow. Usually, if you're following this technique, I don't do my brows at this stage for this reason. I do my bronzing first and then I do my brows because I like the shading of the complexion and the face to kind of like melt into the eyes. And most of us with a little bit of soak that powder on there right underneath where we applied our bronzer. And cut and fill in. One, that gets the bronzer to stand out. Two, it also adds that beautiful S shape to the face shape. Groundwork. This is just so that the shadow doesn't mess with everything we've already applied. It'll catch any of that fallout so we can sweep it right up. I don't usually set my eyelid with translucent powder, but because this is mostly a matte look, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and add a little round of powder. That is really gonna help make the matte shadows apply really smooth and really seamless. If this was like a really out there, super bright, bold eyeshadow look, I would not be doing that, period. So freckle, let's go back to freckle. Freckle sets the tone. Whatever color you're using here, choose wisely. This is my transition color. It definitely is a touch.
you.